What's up, YouTube? Alright, so today we're going to be working on the clutch slave and the brake lines. So you guys are probably way farther ahead. I don't know if this video will be pushed back or be forward, but I'm pretty sure it'll be pushed back. So like I said, from the Lancer days, we had a upgraded clutch master cylinder, basically from the Evo, and this is an upgrade for the Evo as well. But we had this clutch master cylinder here, and my other one was shot, and I want to put this one to good use. So we're gonna be integrating this into this car, which the hole is perfectly sized. It's really nicely sized. But I'm thinking about drilling 2 new holes, just because I don't have to re-tap these and because these studs are bigger. So, and on top of that, this is like a bit longer than you see this one. This one's shorter in length. So I'm going to try to adapt this to the car. It's kind of like this. So every time I put it in, it kind of naturally wants to sit like this, you know, with the hose on top and the clutch line down here. So it's like more like a natural position. So we're going to be shaving those down, shaving these 2 studs down, and yeah, installing this, drilling 2 new holes. It already comes with its bolt holes and everything, and hopefully this is long enough, or I'm gonna have to drill on a new stud, or like weld on like a longer stem or whatever, or I don't know, we'll see. But it's easier to cut this and weld on longer threads onto this versus buying another one from Porsche itself, so because those are expensive. And we're gonna be working on the brake master cylinder and the vacuum. I'm keeping it vacuum assisted and whatnot because it's easier with brakes. Honestly, it's easier to pump brakes with a vacuum line assisted versus no vacuum line. So you guys get the point. But yeah, so we're gonna be looking where this clutch cylinder lines up, clutch sleeve lines up, and looks like it lines up perfectly, but we'll see. Let's try and line this up and get back to you. Right, so measuring the stem needs to be about 2 inches longer, which is not hard. We'll just cut it at this flat point, try and find the same diameter stem and weld it on, make it 2 inches longer. And this is what it like basically extended all the way out. There's not much threads left, so definitely gonna have to extend that about 2 inches. Once we do that, we have room for adjustability. Also, to retain the clutch like setup the way it's set up, we're going to be drilling all the way through this hole and then using the retaining clip that's on the clutch pedal. So no need for that other way that it hooks up on the Lancer way. But other news, there's clearance for these items. There's clearance for these 2 bolt holes for me to be made. And yeah, while I wait for the stem to come in, I'm gonna cut these off, shave them down, and save some of these nuts, and mount this in the car. Alright guys, we got it loosely bolted in. This is really amazing how we can just do whatever we want. I would recommend you guys get an old car. Everything's legal. Just make sure you do safe, you know, fall within the guidelines and stuff. But Yep, this is definitely fun. So we have a Evo X Clutch Master in a 1984 Porsche. Excuse me. So as you guys can see, I need to extend the rod. Extend the rod about 2 inches. So where my finger is where this needs to hook onto. So you can see it's obviously too short. But you see it's nicely bolted in there. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool how we can do stuff like this. Like, whatever you think, you can definitely do. Alright, let's go ahead and take it out and yeah, make the stem longer. Oh, getting out of the race car is hard. That's gonna be really nice. I just love this factory hose. I hope we can retain something like this. Just goes around the whole. Sheesh. This is nice. And then the line has gonna be flush to the wall like this. It's gonna come down and go around. I might need a shorter one. Probably get a shorter one made, or maybe they can sell me one. But yeah, hopefully this works. But this is definitely too long, or else I'm gonna wrap it around or something. Alright, so in the quest of looking for a little stem, 2-inch long stem, found these 2 bolts. This one's obviously dirty, you clean it up. But it's a little bit too wide. So I also got this one. This one's a little bit too thin. So I'd rather go with this one, even though seeing that it's a little bit too wide, but it can be shaped. Also, the hole for this is a bit wider, so which is not bad. Not bad. When you push it down, see, that's where it needs to clear, basically. So what I have should suffice. Good thing with the GoPro. Alright, fast forward in time here. Got it welded up. See, it's nice and long now. And now we're painting it. Slightly bent. Where is it? You can't really see where is it bent. But yeah, it's slightly bent. But it's not going to hurt anything, honestly. So now that it's dry to the touch, we should take this down and put it back in the car. Alright, so next we got a little step bit here. We're gonna drill a hole straight in the center, just like how I said earlier in the video, to make sure, well, to keep the stock mounting points of the, clutch. So the clutch pedal. So I'm gonna drill this out. Alright, and we got a nice perfectly drilled hole. It looks like I bought it like this. That's how OEM it looks. And it's still hot. So we're gonna let that let that cool down and put it in the car. Test fit it. Alright, so just tested it. It's actually really, really good. The only thing I need is a spacer to stop the little side to side movement. It's not moving front and left, moving a little bit side to side. Once I get rid of that play, it'll be perfect. Alright, so let's assemble this up and yeah, move on to the brakes. Alright, enough of that. Let's start to work on the brake booster. So I already cleaned it up and painted it. So we're just gonna drop it back in the car and hook it back up to the pedal with this little foam piece. Interesting. Also gotta fill up that hole. It's like a little bit like a plastic weld, so that shouldn't be too hard. But yeah, we're gonna keep this brake booster vacuum powered because I like soft brakes. Alright, so before we put the brake booster in, again, I just decided to paint this, so I like the way it looks better black. But yeah, we gotta throw this in the car first before we put the brake boost in, because then we won't have any space. So let's take this out so it's all finished and put it in. Alright, so we got the both of them snugged in. I didn't really bolt this one in first. I want to show you guys the fitment over here. It's crazy because it's like a little notch. You can see this little divot right here. It's already built into, you know, this factory brake booster. And look at that, like you can see the fitment between here. It's crazy, like almost as if it was meant to be. But I'm pretty sure to get a wrench on there to tighten it up, I'm gonna need to like loosen this up so I can, you know, get in between there. But yeah, that's only basically to put the line on. So when I get the line, which is be about a 2-foot line, to get that line, I'll tighten up everything snug. So, but enough of that. With the clutch sleeve, all right, the thing you gotta keep in mind is the play that you have in between, like, you know, when you pull it out and push it back in. So like when you pull it out, you want it to be fully extended out. Like you don't want it to be, you know, like fully, like a little bit in. You want it to be completely out. So that's how you do it. And then also what you have to watch for, if you have to extend the back of the clutch pedal, you know, so it doesn't like overexert the sleeve. So actually this was it's actually really perfect. The bump stops it. As you see, it hits it the wall right here. It causes any damage to the clutch. You don't want to push it in too much, you know, than it actually needs to be. So those are things you got to keep in mind when doing this. All right, fast forward in time here. We got a bunch of new goodies from Jegs and Speedway. All right, so here we got brake lines, fittings, valves, and a bunch of other stuff. We also have this proportioning valve from Willwood, as you can see. This would allow me to better control the front and back brake bias between them. And then here we have a line lock from Jegs. So this line lock will help me do wicked burnouts with no effort, little to no effort. So today we're gonna, well, not today, now we're gonna figure out we're gonna mount these things. I guess we're gonna figure out we're gonna mount these first and then run the lines to them after. But this has to be the proportional valve have to be accessible for you know, so I can spin this valve. So I'm wondering, where should I put it? Because I think when the engine's back in here, where would it be perfect to put? This is not bad here, but how would I run the lines? That's another thing. See, there'll be a line coming from here to there. So I'll get back to you when I figure out when I'm going to mount this. All right, so I think I got it all figured out now. So this is gonna line it up right here a bit. They're gonna basically drop down from this side of the master, come down into the front inner and front rear. And then from the front rear, it's gonna go straight to the back. And from the front outer, from the rear outer, it's gonna go straight to the back. And then from the front outer, it's gonna go into this line lock valve right here. And then from there, it's gonna branch off from both sides of the solenoid and go to the front and rear. So super simple. If you guys don't know what this line lock, if you guys don't know about this line lock stuff, it basically allows me to do burnouts a lot easier with a push of a button. So I gotta set up that button inside the car, But so basically you would pump up the brakes, push a button, this solenoid would lock the front wheels and release the back wheels. You could then release your foot off the brake and then just floor and just do a burnout, you know. So the front wheels will be holding it. But we're going to be mounting this up now. So we're going to drill our pilot holes and then insert riv nuts and bolt these up. So alright, so now we're going to start to install the line lock switch and indicator light. So as you can see, it comes with a bunch of stuff. It comes with black off ports, self taps, but we didn't even use those, fuse, and indicator light, and an activator button. So essentially how it works is, like I said earlier, you press the brake down, press on this button, release the brake. Your front brakes are still locked for however long you hold this button for. When you do your burnout, you release it, and you can roll forward. So the way they have it is, it will go from the battery, from the fuse, obviously, straight to the switch, and straight to this indicator light, which then the power is then sent to the solenoid, which is up in the front. Basically this light is just telling you that when you have this button pressed down, it illuminates. So it's basically telling you, yeah, it's activated. But not really, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna have this run through one of these switches up here. So I have one of the line lock switches to give this whole thing power, so this thing is not getting power all the time. So if you was accidentally press it, this light will illuminate and your front brakes will, and your front brakes will lock up if you was to accidentally press it. So that's not good. So we're going to run this to one of these switches up here, and then the power from there would go straight to the switch. I don't know if I'm going to install this indicator light. I guess it would be handy, just in case if the system just malfunctions, and you know, this would be a good indicator. Let me know that it's burnout time. But yeah, I'm probably gonna fit it in the dash up here somewhere. But I guess I'm gonna bore you guys, so I'm gonna install everything. I'll get back to you when it's done. Alright, so now whenever you guys are installing an NPT fitting, whether it's a block off or a brake line, anything NPT has to be Teflon taped. So, alright, so that's basically how you would do it. As you can see, you can still see the threads. Like, you wrap it around. I did it about twice. If you go any thicker, you won't be able to use the threads and stick it in. But that's essentially how it's supposed to be. So I'm gonna do it for the rest of the fittings. Alright, so we got both of them in there now. All NPT fitting up, adapted to 3AN lines with Teflon tape on all the NPT fittings, just like I said. And also installed a black off, since we're only gonna be using this side of the master. So I'm gonna have to spray this up black so it looks uniform. And also needed a black off for the bottom of one of the front outers. You know, because since there's two coming in, front, rear, and then one front going into the line lock, and then both the fronts come off into 3AN fittings, go one there and then one on the opposite side. And then the rear is gonna come from here, then it's just gonna go straight, you know, to the rear. We're gonna be making one full line, long line, just like this, but that's later on. So right now we're going to measure up what size 3AN stainless steel fitting, or stainless steel braided line we need. Measure how long it is to the brake caliper, and then that's exactly what we're gonna do from here to here. And from here, it's gonna be a hard line, straight. It gets across back here, and then run along there, and then yeah, you know, straight to the other side. So it's gonna be super simple. All right, so to run these brake lines, we're going to be using the coat hanger method. So, for example, I'm going to be doing this one first. So I'm gonna run this one from the front outer against the wall and across, and then into this inner right here. The reason why we're using this coat hanger is so we don't waste, you know, perfectly bent brake lines like this. So you bend this up, and then we mimic it on the brake line. Same way for the rest. Alright, so we basically got most of it bent up here in the front part. So we got some nice curve. This bend was already here. This was one of my bends. I kind of like it to be more shallower of a bend. And this tool helps you out a lot. Just put it in between here, and then, you know, press it closed like that. So that's pretty cool. So you see both of them come down to here, rear, front. And then from the front, go straight along this wall, 90, 45. I like it, it looks really nice. Straight into the inlet of the line lock. Now from here, this is just gonna go straight to a braided line, and then this, like I said, it's gonna go to the other one. So, you're gonna basically have to do that and run the rear, and I'm basically done. All right, learn all the lines from the front to the back and finish it up. So now we're gonna start to Teflon tape them and flare them out. So to do that, I got this kit, an ABN, some cheap kit, I guess. But yeah, essentially how it works is you lock this in. I already finished this one already. So you lock it in into the right one. This is a 3/16 line. You put the little 3/16 cap in the line like that. And then you go ahead and apply so much pressure that, you know, basically like until it like bends and flares itself with this little lip like that. So, you know, I already did this one, but you basically put this over it and keep tightening this little thing down until you apply enough pressure so it flares. So I'm gonna go ahead and, since this one's finished, Teflon tape this one up and do the rest. So alright, so to finish off the braking system, I'm going to use the stainless steel braided lines on this 3AN fitting right here. This is going to allow us to bring the fluid all the way to the new calipers, which will be on the next video or video after this, whichever one. But that basically finishes off the whole brake system. We have this one, and we have a smaller one for the other side. So, yeah. Alright, now that we got the whole brake system figured out, we're gonna move on to the next step. So don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. Don't forget, never stop modifying.